going to do about the change in administrations? What are we going to do with regard to our clients and our investment strategy going forward? And it's an extraordinarily difficult time, as you can imagine, because, you know, so much of his economic policy is not clear, it's not known. Secondly, even if it was known, it's a real question as to how much of it's going to get through Congress, and then most importantly, what time is it going to begin to impact the economy? What we ordinarily do, and here's the most important thing, is we don't try to get caught up emotionally in all of the trials and tribulations of the Trump administration, all the comings and goings, all the questions regarding the Trump administration, and the disarray that we do see coming out of Washington. You know, what is going to be the Trump economic plan, tax plan? What is going to be the impact on the national economy in New York State? You know, frankly, I don't think he knows what the tax plan is yet. Their tax plan's now currently working their way through the Senate as well as being discussed in the House of Representatives. It's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. There are three things that we think are probably going to be in the mix. The first, of course, is a reduction, a significant reduction in the corporate tax rate from 35%. I'll take the House version down to 20%. The second is an increase, in order to pay for that, an increase in a change in the deductibility of interest payments by corporations. In other words, they used to be able to deduct those interest payments. They'll no longer be able to deduct those interest payments. And then the most complex and newest of them all is what we call border adjustment. It's a very complex issue, but essentially it means that anybody, any corporation that's importing products or even parts of products that are going to sell domestically are going to get taxed on those imports, in the sense that they'll no longer be able to deduct the cost of those imports that they're going to put into products that they sell to U.S. consumers. On the other hand, those that are exporters are going to be able to sell things regardless of where they sell them in the world tax-free. So, for example, General Electric will be able to sell a large steam engine, for example, to China, and they will not be taxed on the revenues that are generated from that sale. A tough question. How are foreign investments going to be affected by the administration's policy? You know, probably they're going to start, they haven't been doing well. The relative performance of markets around the world versus the U.S. has not been particularly good. But we're starting to see signs that they're starting to perk up or get a little bit better. The reason we're getting signs that they're starting to perk up and get a little better is we're getting fairly positive economic signs. And the reason we're getting positive economic signs from, say, Europe, from the global markets such as China, Brazil, Japan in particular, is that the dollar has been so strong. And when the dollar is strong, that's not particularly good for U.S. exports. It is good for exports from other parts of the world to the U.S. I think we're starting to see in the numbers now that they're starting to prosper. If we get more of the so-called tax changes and economic policy that we expect from the Trump administration, my guess is you're going to start to see the stock markets around the world get better. We're starting to see some of that, as I mentioned, right now. Particularly Germany, France, Great Britain is recovering, Japan. We're starting to see some stock markets around the world perform fairly well. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see, in response to a strong dollar and weak and attractive currencies in other parts of the world, that they start to do a little bit better.